So I just got back from a nice walk, did some reflecting and listened to a podcast, and I need to share some stuff that I think is actually really relevant and really important for today. So, marriage. Marriage is some people love it, some people hate it, some people love to hate it, hate to love it, all those mixed emotions, because that's pretty much what marriage is. It's a up and down roller coaster of goods, bads, ugly, awkward, all kinds of stuff. And I'm coming from the Christian worldview. There's this podcast called Wretched Radio, hosted by Todd Friel, and he was talking about, in this particular podcast, how Christians on our walk with the Lord, how we sometimes hit those ruts in our relationship with the Lord where we don't really feel the warm and fuzzy of the, oh, I'm saved, like that joy, and he compared that with marriage. When we marry someone, or before we marry someone, there's those initial, butterflies and all those little happy feelings, and you just, that euphoric feeling, and you chase that until you get married. And even, the first few years of your marriage can be pure bliss. And then something happens called real life. And then you start seeing things in the person that you never saw before, or the things that you thought were cute at first, they start to agitate you. And this is why I wanted to make this video. This is very, very, very important to our upcoming generation, Gen Zers. My kids. My kids are Gen Zers, and I'm a millennial, and I'm seeing more and more that not very many people are talking about the realities of marriage. Marriage is a joy, and it has its moments where it's like, what am I doing? And I think it's very important for the young folks to learn that we should not be chasing the feeling in our marriage in order for it to be like something, chasing the feeling of whether I feel good about this person is not a reason to stay married or even stay in the marriage. I mean, obviously you have more reasons to stay in the marriage if you have those cute, bubbly butterfly feelings, but that's not what marriage is all the time. And my dog just walked in. And it's one of those things where I fear for the future generation, because feelings can be misleading. Feelings can lead us to points where we actually start doubting, why am I here? What's going on in my marriage? What's going on in my relationship? Please, 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 when and if you decide to get married, do not give in to the temptation that I should leave my spouse simply because things are getting rough. Things are going to get rough. And this is coming from someone who has been divorced and remarried. My husband now is my second husband. And marriage is most definitely harder the second time around. So please, I ask humbly that whoever's watching is not just watching thinking, oh, this is just another Karen. This is just another mom, a millennial mom who just knows everything. I don't know everything, and I've made lots of mistakes. And I know from experience that divorce, I don't wish divorce on anyone, honestly. I mean, there has to be like an extreme situation where divorce should be a very, 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 very last resort. And I say that because the kids always pay for it. They always pay for it. Even if there's a good reason like abuse or the person's in jail for murder or something like that. Like, the kids always pay for it. And it's really, really tough. I've seen it. I've seen it in my stepkids. I've seen it in my kids. My oldest. I say all of that to say this. Marriage is going to be tough. And I cannot tell you how many times, I don't have enough fingers and toes to tell you, or to count how many times I have thought, I'm done. Marriage is a wonderful, wonderful thing. If two people are working at it 100%, it's 100. It's not half and half. When I'm not giving my full effort, my spouse knows it. And I know it whenever my spouse is not giving his 100%. It's very, very, very important that we change how we are. Now, I'm speaking to the adults now. The adults who are married, have kids. We have to start changing how we teach marriage to our kids. If you are an adult who chases that feeling, that euphoric feeling, as a way to determine whether there's something good or bad in the relationship or marriage, you're doing it all wrong. You're doing it wrong. Because that feeling is not going to last. It'll come and go. And the thought came to me whenever I was listening to that podcast, that the moment your relationship hits a point where you're not really sensing all the feelings, the cutesy, bubbly feelings, the moment when you have that realization, that should be a good indicator that there's going to be a change, a pivotal change in your relationship, good or bad. What are you going to do at that pivotal moment? Because that is a perfect opportunity for growth, and maturity. Growth and maturity. Because if you're hopping from relationship to relationship based on, well, I don't like the way he's treating me. I don't like the way she's talking to me. I don't like the way my husband talks to me half the time. And I promise you, I have said some things that have probably hurt my husband. It's going to happen. I'm not saying I'm like intentionally. Hopefully you're not intentionally doing it, but we're sinful. We're broken. We all have junk. We all have our junk and we all have our baggage. We got to get rid of it. And your spouse is going to feel your junk. They're going to see it. They're going to hear it. They're going to feel it. Don't chase the feeling. Don't chase it. It's fun. It's exciting. And I'm not saying that marriage isn't exciting. But what I am saying is there's a moment of maturity. There's a point where the relationship goes from immaturity to maturity, to where you start realizing, oh, I don't need to nag my husband every time he throws the laundry beside the laundry basket. Or why am I asking my wife, what have you done today, when the dishes are piled up in the sink, but yet there's little babies in the house? Maturity is looking at yourself rather than the other person and asking, what can I do to help? What can I do to contribute? I feel like that's really necessary. Parents, we've got to teach our kids and show them what marriage is. And if you don't know, and if you've been doing it wrong, and if you've been saying, oh my gosh, Hannah, I've been chasing that feeling. I have been the one who have hopped around from, I can't, keep a relationship because I just let, the feelings just go away. It's fine. That's fine. I'm not saying you have to be miserable. What I am saying is sometimes we have to put our big girl pants on, big boy pants on, and realize that pain and suffering is part of the process. I tell my kids all the time, when you're exercising or you're working out and you're done with the workout, the day after it's going to hurt, right? It's going to hurt because your muscles are growing. There's a little bit of pain involved in exercising and working out. That is a really good analogy for life, and especially in marriage. Sometimes things have got to sting a little bit. Let it sting for a little while. And I'm not saying you shouldn't communicate. I'm just giving the gist. This is not a full out, marriage counseling transformation session. All I'm expressing is it's very important that we start teaching our kids that marriage can be so amazing if we stop chasing those feelings and we start realizing, hey, this is someone I'm sharing a life with, and they are not perfect. My spouse and me. I'm not perfect. My spouse is not perfect. It takes effort and it takes a lot of grace, because sometimes whenever I mess up, we love it whenever people give us grace, don't we? Why don't we give our significant other, our spouses, some grace? Because that's how you love. That's real love. Loving when the person is not being lovable. Love is not a feeling. Love is not a feeling. I know they're teaching that, I know for a fact they are teaching that love is a strong feeling, because I've seen the stuff that they're teaching in I saw slides for something that my son, some class, I don't know what class, I don't remember. It was like health class or something, I don't remember, but love is not a feeling. It is not a feeling, because if love was a feeling, then I don't even know. I don't even know how to, wrap my brain around that. Love is an action. It's what you do. Love is what you do. How do you love? That feeling that you feel, that's just either lust or infatuation. That's all it is. So yeah, that's my 2 cents. Young people, Gen Z, Love is not a feeling. And marriage is hard work, which means you're gonna have to put up with some stuff because you love the person. Because you love them, you will put up with some dirty dishes. And every once in a while, a snappy attitude just because they're tired. And it's 5 o'clock in the morning and the baby is hungry. You know, that's just how it is. That's how you grow. And that's how your relationship gets stronger. A relationship cannot get stronger if you quit 10 years in. It just won't. Unless there's like a real good reason. And I mean a real good reason. But even then, you can still find a reason to forgive the person, to find encouragement through other people, especially the church. Older people who are married, cling to them. I know I've had to cling to many mentors along the way. People who have been married twice as long as me. And it helps. It helps you get through those times where you're like, I don't know if I can do it. I don't know if I can do it. So, think about that. Are you chasing a feeling? Or are you working towards something? Are you working towards a goal?